This is Sukkertoppen, but it's not the mountain the city of Ålesund knows. For as long as I've lived here, it's been a constant, unchanging landmark on the horizon, a symbol of home. Then, 1 month ago, on March 17th, everything changed. I came back to see what was left, and what I found wasn't just ashes. Some places are woven into the fabric of a city. Here in Ålesund, Sukkertoppen, the sugar-top mountain, is one of those places. It's more than just a landmark. It's part of our shared identity, the backdrop to our daily lives. You see it from almost everywhere in the city, a constant, reassuring presence. So when the news broke on March 17th, it felt personal. I remember seeing the pictures online. That sick feeling in my stomach watching the smoke pour from the mountain, a place so visible to us all. A vegetation fire, they called it. But watching the footage, seeing the flames whipped up by fierce, unpredictable winds, it felt more like an assault. Fire crews and helicopters battled the blaze as it crept dangerously close to homes. This hike, exactly 1 month after the fire, felt like a pilgrimage. I was looking for closure, for some kind of understanding, and maybe, just maybe, a little sliver of hope in all the devastation. The hike up to Sukkertoppen usually starts on a well-worn gravel path near the Osane sportshall, winding up from behind the houses on Hessa. As I took those first steps, a weird sense of normal washed over me. The air was cool and clean, birds I couldn't see were chirping in the trees. The path felt solid under my boots, a well-worn, gentle climb. For a few minutes, I could almost trick myself into believing nothing had happened. Just a quiet morning on a local mountain. But then I caught it. A faint smell on the wind, something I almost missed. It wasn't the cozy smell of a campfire. It was the sharp, bitter tang of something deeply burnt. A chemical smell that stuck to the back of my throat. It was the ghost of the fire, a phantom that the rain hadn't washed away. The climb towards the ridgeline is where the trail really starts to burn, and it's where Sukkertoppen finally showed me its scar. The change was so abrupt it was shocking. The trail, which had been carving through a living forest, suddenly became a stark dividing line. To my right, the world was green and alive. To my left, it was a monochrome landscape of black and grey. The path itself had become an accidental firebreak. You could see with absolute clarity how the flames had torn up the western slope, a wall of heat that firefighters fought to a dead stop right here on this trail. The skeletons of small trees stripped bare stood like brittle black statues. Their branches were twisted into agonizing shapes, a silent memorial to the inferno. I'd seen all the photos and videos of the fire, but nothing could have prepared me for actually standing in the middle of it. The sheer scale of it was overwhelming. This wasn't just a scorched patch of dirt. A whole piece of the mountain, a living ecosystem, had just been erased. Standing there, I thought back to March 17th and the reports of the strong winds fanning the flames. You could feel the raw power of that day. It was humbling and it was deeply, deeply sad. Reaching the main ridgeline of Sukkertoppen is a victory. It's where the world just opens up, rewarding you with one of the most incredible views in Norway. But today, that feeling was complicated. As I came over the final rise, I was met with a view of profound conflict. To the east, there was Ålesund, laid out like a postcard, a perfect mosaic of Art Nouveau buildings nestled among the islands and fjords. But when I turned west, I was looking at the wound. I could trace the entire path of the fire, a massive dark stain spreading down the mountainside towards the sea. From up here, I could finally see the full extent of the damage, and that faint smell of smoke was still there. A constant reminder of the chaos. Yet in the middle of all this sadness, I noticed something I absolutely did not expect. The fire, in its destructive fury, had vaporized decades of dense shrubs and trees that had blocked the view on the western slope. Because of that, the panorama from the summit was more open and more stunningly clear than I had ever seen it. The view of the city, especially, was just jaw-dropping. It felt like a curtain had been pulled back, revealing a perspective that had been hidden for years. It was a strange, conflicting feeling. How can you find beauty in the aftermath of so much loss? I felt a pang of guilt admiring this new, clearer view, knowing what it cost. It was a powerful lesson in nature's indifference. The mountain wasn't mourning, it was simply changed. Seeing a place you love change so drastically is a powerful thing. If you've ever felt that way, watching a familiar landscape get transformed by a flood or a storm or a fire, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. It helps to know you're not alone in processing these moments. After taking in the huge scale of the change from the ridgeline, I started walking slowly along the summit path. My focus shifted from the big pictures to the ground right under my feet. I had come here looking for more than just ashes, and I was determined to find it. And then I saw it, a tiny spear of bright, electric green forcing its way through a crack in the charred ground. Once I saw the first one, I started seeing more, tiny clusters of green, defiantly pushing aside the ash. These weren't just signs of life, they were declarations. They were proof that healing, no matter how slow, had already begun. I also saw sign of human resilience. In the distance, I could see cleared debris, evidence of volunteer groups from the Sukkertoppen community who had already started the hard work of cleaning up. Their efforts, combined with nature's first defined shots of green, were the hope I'd been searching for. It was the answer to the question I'd carried all the way up the mountain. The fire was an ending, for sure, but it was also, undeniably, a beginning. The walk down from the summit felt completely different. The heaviness in my chest was gone, replaced by a quiet sense of optimism. That acrid smell of smoke was still in the air, but it no longer felt so ominous. Now it just felt like a memory, a part of the mountain's long story. Looking back at the blackened slope, I didn't just see an ending anymore. I saw a canvas waiting to be repainted. I saw the deep, nutrient-rich ash that would feed the next generation of wildflowers and trees. The hike had transformed. It started as a somber trip to a place of loss, but it ended as a powerful lesson in endurance. Sukkertoppen is wounded, but it isn't dead. Its spirit, just like those first green shots, is unbreakable. This journey through the ashes was about more than just a mountain. It was a real, tangible reminder that even after the worst happens, life finds a way. Resilience is built into the natural world, and into us too. The scar will be there for years, a visible part of Sukkertoppen's history. But it won't be the final word. I came here to see what was lost, but I'm leaving with a deep sense of what will always endure. Nature is already writing its next chapter, and I'll be back to watch it unfold.